It has been a while since I've seen a remaster with a title quite as awful as Yooka-Re-Playlee, but it feels appropriate for a game that was developed as a shameless nostalgia-driven mashup of classic 3D platformers. This remastered edition offers a spruced up and definitive version of the 2017 original, a genre I found myself returning to more often in a post-Astro world. The biggest problem with Yooka-Laylee, however, in both its original and remastered form, is that making fun of classic designs without ever subverting them can only take you so far. That's not to say Yooka-Re-Playlee is a bad game, it simply struggles to stand out in a crowded genre. An even bigger problem when so many classics that inspired it are still accessible through remasters, backwards compatibility, or emulation. With a handful of quality-of-life additions and an admittedly impressive visual overhaul, Yooka-Re-Playlee offers up a competent but predictable 3D platformer. It intersperses brief storytelling scenes, which are still unvoiced, with extensive collectible hunts within small but dense game worlds. In classic fashion, once you collect enough MacGuffins, you unlock another game world to explore from within an evolving hub, and you might receive a snippet of storytelling for your efforts. You repeat the process through 5 worlds before tackling an end boss to roll the credits. It's a formula that goes back to Super Mario 64 and can offer up methodical fun if the pacing is good. At first, Yooka-Re-Playlee nails the pacing by ensuring the hub and each world you explore feel visually distinct and are packed with diverse platforming challenges and dozens of minigames. The variety is essential, as despite the remaster granting you the full moveset from the start, the combat is mostly one-note and rarely asks more of you than spamming a spin attack and jumping to avoid damage. You have classic 3D platforming that can shift into 2D gauntlets or isometric sections that will test your depth perception and timing. Bosses are all about pattern recognition and skillful movement as you bide your time until they're vulnerable to damage. With an updated camera and controls, the basics feel slick, responsive and satisfying if you're after a traditional experience. The problem is that progression boils down to collecting pages that are scattered from a magical book during the introduction. Rather than just a handful of essential pages to find in each world, the developers have included hundreds of them, far more than you need to reach the final boss, and sometimes split into fragments or alternate forms just for good measure. Starting with the good, they've clearly realized variety would be essential between the platforming challenges, so there are dozens of minigame variants. There are time trials and races, on foot, underwater and in the air, puzzles based on elements, patterns and symbol recognition, minecart rides, arena battles, target practice, a transformation gimmick in each world with associated minigames, and even an entire series of arcade games you can tackle within the game. That is not even an exhausted list, though it is worth noting many of these challenges have been tweaked for the remaster to ensure they control better. In addition to the endless stream of pages they provide, as often as every minute if you're on a roll, you have 2 currencies, one for passive upgrades and another for cosmetics and tonics. The tonics are the most worthwhile addition, as you can equip them to make the game easier, harder, or just weirder. It all sounds great, but there are problems. I'll start with the plot, which is still threadbare, and the characters are an acquired taste. Yooka the chameleon and Laylee the bat form a great duo where gameplay is concerned, but their clashing personalities feel forced in dialogue. The video game-centric jokes and quirky NPCs, with some official cameos, are neither funny nor particularly smart, outside a handful of interactions that made me chuckle. The lack of voice work is a big issue, as button mashing through lines of text mean there's no control over the delivery or timing of lines. The bigger problem is that each new world you unlock shares the same assortment of minigames. That diversity is great during the opening hour or 2, but even with changes to streamline the experience, you'll be going through the same motions for another 6 to 7 hours. Despite plenty of quips about video game tropes and greedy corporations, Yooka-Re-Playlee never plays off those observations in a meaningful way. It's a game that wears its Nintendo 64-era inspirations on its sleeves, with shared mechanics and in-game references to Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong, and of course the buddy duo Banjo-Kazooie, coupled with plenty of modern cameos or references. If you're a fan of those classics, or if you've played any other recent 3D platformers, indie or AAA, little will surprise you. All that said, the new tonic upgrades and low level of challenge could make Yooka-Re-Playlee a decent introduction to the 3D platformer genre for new or younger players. The improved visuals, camera and controls are significant updates, or features like the unlock moveset, detailed map and fast travel points make the endless hunt for pages more bearable. However, it's harder to recommend Yooka-Re-Playlee to all but the most die-hard 3D platformer fans, when better options are available. If you've got this far, please consider giving the video a like and maybe subscribing to our channel, as it helps us grow.